decisions in the first half sort of changed everything. Penalty and the red card. What were your thoughts on those?
Yeah, listen, I mean, the bar is there for a reason, I think, and in my opinion, when you look at those decisions, they are very tight and very close, and you got to be, 100% right in making those decisions. And if you don't, then, obviously for us, we pay the consequences. As I said, certainly the penalty is definitely, in my opinion, again, it's not a penalty. We managed to just have a quick look at it. You can see Matty's following the ball and the guys actually bump into him. So, I don't understand from the referee's point of view on the VAR that they don't go and examine these things, and how can you actually visually see those incidents and come up with the wrong decision. For me, that's just where the inconsistency of the VAR, the VAR actually highlight all these things, but yet the decision makers are getting it wrong. And I just can't get my head around it. And then from there, it's like an upwards battle for us when, you spoil a perfect night of football, and which is likely to be a really high intensity game, a game full of dramas. But certainly the way how the game ended for us, it's not what we expected.
Pleased though that they fought back to the end and even hit the crossbar in the dying seconds. So with those things considered, but for a few inches, it could have been a draw still.
Yeah, listen, we had to make some changes, some difficult ones. We haven't been in those positions. Again, we talked about if it were to happen, what we were likely to do and what we can do. We were hoping it wasn't to happen, but it did. But the lads, done fantastically well to stay in the game. We felt if we could stay in the game, we could probably nick something from the game. And of course, when they get that third goal, it's kind of put the stuck in us. But again, we show what we about. I get to learn about my players in much more in a conditional way that I've never seen them before. So this is another good step and a really positive one, because we could have folded and go on there and probably got a real good beating from Sydney. But that wasn't the case. I'm very proud of my players in terms of what they've done. And as you said, we could have probably got a point in the end.
Did you see clarification from the A-Leagues about either of those calls in the first half?
Sorry?
Will you see clarification about either of those decisions?
Listen, it's not going to change the results now. And, often enough, you're just hoping that you're not going to be in this position. But we are asking for the consistency, and the bar is there for a reason. And, if you're not so sure, you got to go and have a look. You got to go and view these incidents, and anybody with a football knowledge, again, in my opinion, certainly the penalty is definitely not a penalty, and I think that's the game changer right there. The game is swung from there on in. It was very nicely balanced between both very good teams, and those decisions swings in Sydney favour, and from there was a uphill battle. We hang in there, but yeah, the inconsistency in decision making is what killing the game.
You made the triple sub at half time, and amongst those substitutions coming off was Craig Noon, and he looked like he was probably the best player for McCarthy in the first half. How difficult was it to bring him off, and was the logic behind the triple sub to try and stop your side from exhausting out, knowing that you had to chase the game down?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Well, we finished with the 9 men, and we had to bring on someone to put in a defender, so someone had to miss out somewhere. And I thought, let me say, Craig was extremely fantastic first half, and really, put in that magnificent cross for us to get that equalizer. And as a manager, you kind of left there with the advice of your other assistant to them, although the decision is mine. I've got to make difficult calls. But football decision, it's not a personal vendetta to Craig or to any of my players. We make football decisions to seek what's best for the team. And it was a difficult call, but we feel with young Jed, with the legs he's got up and down, could probably be able to give us a little bit more with 45 minutes. Maybe, in hindsight, I could have looked at it a little bit different, but, as a manager, you live and learn, and you die by the sword, and I've made that decision. I'm sure Craig won't take it personally, although he will be disappointed, which I expect. But at the end of the day, I try to do the best for what the team is more important.
Anthony Carter finally managed to get off the mark. He's had a difficult start to the season. Do you think this is going to be like the catalyst that'll allow him to go on and kind of, I guess, not have those misses that he's had to start the season?
Yeah, well, listen, as a player, you come into a new environment, which is what Carter did, and he's found it very difficult. There's no question about that, and he's obviously found himself out the team. And the only way to do it, you got to fight. There's players here. I've got a squad of players that I've got to manage at the same time, and players who are out the team has to fight for their place. Carter has come out and show some energy tonight, and he's got his just reward for it. Now, may that continue, but that's the kind of stuff that we expect from him. And so by doing that puts me in a difficult situation whether he plays in the next game or not. But, we talk about the squad rotation here, and we talk about the squad. You play well, you keep the shirt. You score goals, you get into the team. It's a very simple logic that I say to my players. And tonight I'm very pleased because he needed something to kickstart his season, and lucky enough tonight he's got that goal.
There was an incident in the first half with Sydney's number 16, Patrick Yazbek. He went in for a tackle, got yellow carded for it. Based on what we've seen already this season, the way I looked at it, at least, it looked like it could have and probably should have been called a red card based on what we've already seen this season. I guess, as a coach for you, how frustrating is it to maybe not have consistency in some of the calls?
Well, consistency in the word. You look around, not just in this, sports here, just in the A-League, but throughout Europe as well. You look at Conte going off crazy a few days ago. He was going nuts about the fact that the inconsistency in VAR. And then, again, VAR is there for a reason. In my opinion, they need to go and have a look. Why not have a look? You're making decisions. The people up there who are making tough decisions, but they happen to make decisions against us. But when it's come to Sydney, they're not making those difficult calls. And you see the tackle. I don't like to see any player get sent off, but it certainly looked like a red card to me.
What did you learn about your players today in a difficult circumstance? What did you learn?
Well, what I learned about my players is that I continue to, I'm very new into the management arena, but this is incredible to see my players' reaction. That never say die attitude. We could have fouled particularly when Sydney got 3-1 up. I seen the fight. I seen the characters with my players. That's from a manager's standpoint is very encouraging. And you look at their eyes and you listen to them in the dressing room. There's a huge disappointment there because they felt they probably, could have actually got something from the game. So that's encouraging. That's what I want to the team. It's our first defeat, so it's a new thing of this team. We haven't experienced that, and now we got to dust ourselves down and let's see how we react to the next game. And I'm looking forward to it.
Last question, guys.
Yeah, just quickly. Travel to Wellington next week. Controversial game in many ways. Tonight, just wanted to know how you go about regrouping the squad heading into next week.
Yeah, well, listen. I let the dust settle, as they say. You have a day or two. The players will come in and obviously dust themselves down a little bit. We get that, get the massage, get people sort of refocus again. We'll have a chat among ourselves and try to pick the lads up. It's my job to make sure to do that. I'm sure that the disappointment will go away in a few days, and then we're going to have to refocus. We have a very difficult game against Wellington away. It's a game that, good teams normally do is bounce back from a defeat. So I'm expecting us to sort of do that. It's my job to make sure and try and make sure the players prepare extremely well from a mentally and standpoint. But yeah, that's my job to do. So hopefully we can do that.